Hello, and welcome back to another stream of Boomeadow Builds. The stream where we are building my homebrew world, which is called Avani, but it actually has 3 particular mirror planes at the moment. So we have been, over the last few sessions, slowly building up Feywild, which was once known as the Feywilds, but is now part of a mirrored material plane. So I hope you can join me. Hi, Drop Bear. Yes, I hope you can join me as we jump in. We are actually finishing up the final court in the Feywild series. So the summer to autumn transition, and from here we'll be working on going back ahead and retouching up, remaking the Anthalamirian / material plane map, and then finally we'll jump into Nethreg, or the Hells, which is the 3rd mirrored pocket dimension of the material plane. From there, we'll probably start building some towns. However, let's jump in and do some map building. I use Incarnate for my maps, if anyone ever wondered what I tend to use. I know that there are other map building programs out there. I've looked at Dungeon Fog, Dungeon Alchemist. At the moment, for what I make, Incarnate is by far my program of choice. But I do understand that it is not for everyone. So I hope you are well today. As you can probably hear, I myself have a tiny bit of a cold. But hopefully it will not come to haunt me as more than just a cold. But we'll see. Anyway, have you all been today? I don't have a coffee yet. I am hoping that I have a happy little fairy that will provide me with coffee at some point. But we'll see how we go. However, we need to change the name of some oceans and get this started. So at the moment we have the overlay of the map, as best as I have been able to do at this point in time, so that we're not running into tree roots, the world tree. That seems to be something that I need to be careful of. However, listening to some hardcore music from GameChops today, or at least to start with. I think I need to come up with some other creative sea names. This is a bay. What would we like it? It's Summer Cove. You know what? We can go with that. Because Sal, for anyone who doesn't know, apparently means seal. Okay. Saleve Bay, Kalive Bay, Sel Kalive Bay, Seal Gathering Bay. Not exactly some of the most out there names, but so how are we all doing today? Well, isn't this interesting? I don't have a name for this. Oh no, here we go. So again, for anyone who is not aware of this particular series or this world map, the players in this game will be playing through the fourth era of this world, after an event known as the Merge, in which, after the events of foiling the Titan King and Eldritch entities' return, and liberal use of the Necronomicon, it meant that the material plane, the Feywild, and the Hells actually joined together in like a mirroring kind of situation, in which there were parts of the world that mirrored over each other, and this is why some of these material plane, as you'll see when we're building the other mirror planes, will end up mirrored. Like all of these islands and everything, it will force the landscape to take on at least the mirrored land masses. So they're basically identical planes, but they are going to be very different in nature. I'm going to go through and clear up all these itty bitty holes, which is when you do a slightly improper job of filling and you leave tiny holes everywhere, and then you put trees down on top of it so you didn't notice it in the first place. And this is the thing, even though it's a mirrored plane, we can actually add some distinguishing features that belong specifically to the Feywild in this part of the world, which I am looking forward to. So we're going to see a lot of Selkie clans in this area, which would make sense considering I've just named it Seal Gathering Bay. And the Selkies within my world, which they are a playable race, tend to be a bit of a fun-loving party people. Fierce warriors, obviously, but also know how to have a good party. So just little bits and pieces that are filling in this map. And then we'll actually get to the fun stuff, which is placing towns, which of course, while I do have lists of towns that I use, I'm always open to input. Because I love some of the ideas you guys come up with. They're very creative. However, if you don't want to miss any of the stuff, or you like what I do in general, please hit the follow button so that you can follow along when I stream, which is I stream Boomeadow builds on Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. Every fortnight, I do have a longer stream in what is my Australian evening, usually for a couple of hours, where we kind of just sit, hang, do this kind of thing, build some maps together, talk some D&D. Just, you know, talk homebrew classes, homebrew races, especially with this particular campaign. So my viewpoint on that kind of stuff is, within reason, I do have some custom created content, or third-party content even, an amalgamation, that I do allow my players to use at times. And from there, obviously it is on the caveat, if we ever use anything like this, that if for whatever reason it's not working or we need to tweak it, we can do so. Just because that is the whole point of playtesting. You know, because we want everything to be fair as well. I try to avoid power creep of one particular player over any of the others, because again, not fair. It's supposed to be a fun game. It's supposed to be a collaborative game. Everybody should be a hero or a villain, depending on which way the group decides to go, because that is entirely their opinion. But as I was saying, if you like what I do, please follow along. Turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going live. I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays stream playing some Xbox games, and I might be changing those up depending on how we go. I've been playing Little Witch in the Woods and Garden Story of late. But if you miss any of these live, you can catch up on my YouTube channel of the same name, Boomeadow, which you can find down in the About section below. Otherwise, let's place some towns. Actually, should we rename this hillside? Excuse me. Rename the hillside? I think we might wait. The Adamantine hillside should be something a bit different. I do know that we are going to have some caverns over here, so we might put in some mountains over here. Now, but actually, giving my brain time to catch up with what I am doing, we are actually filling in a different part of the world. Which it would help if I pull up a recent map that I have to reference, just so I get the kind of colouring right, so that when I match the two maps up, it actually works and looks cohesive. Because what I do is I then will save all of these at a higher quality, and then I put them all into one bib map, which I then export at an even higher quality so that when we have the map in full, my players can actually read it. Nothing worse than putting all this time into a map and then, you know, the players not actually getting to appreciate the artwork of it. Okay. So what we're looking at is we'll be looking at bringing in some deserty kind of things. We don't want too much. Summer will be a lot of rainforest heading into autumnal style forests. So we want some really nice deserty textures, I think. I don't think we want... We might actually have some straight up fire because summer is like lava, because that does tend to be at least where some of we know that over here be desertous. Just start with this as a base at least. We don't want to take the desert too far because this is going to start being a bit jungly, I think. Jungly, swampy. Little column A, little column B. Especially because this place up here is going to very interestingly become known as the Steaming Waste. So I'll just go down and put in a base colour to start with. And then we'll blend these a bit better. from this reference map in front of me, this area up here is going to be a lot more autumnal. So I know that there are some more autumn style flavors of map up here. We'll work on that bit in a minute. See, I probably won't use the hell textures on this one. Might use them a little bit more on Nethreg. I really like this transition down here. We'll work on that though. What we do and go through is lessen some of these harsh transitions. Obviously having a lot of trees on this will also help with this, but I like having a really good established base at least. too dark there. I feel like that's a pretty good transition between summer and autumn at least there. But we're going to come back and work on this little deserty place down here. Sure, where are we on the tree? I want some of this summer greenery, I think. Because we are going to have the solar palaces down there in the beachy, deserty area. So a lot of this red sand, obviously we do see a lot of red sand in Australia. I just thought it was a really nice way to add that touch in. So, start going through, finding our icons. So I do go through and I change the colour of my markers. Just because I like them to have some consistency across the entire map. And this will be size 44 with a full opacity. Make it so that the thing is visible. we'll put in some of the Fey landscapes. Hellish landscapes. So I've already been looking at different races and species that I'm going to have in this and how I'm going to divide them up between what is from the Feywild, what's not from the Feywild, yada yada yada. Because I want there to be some level of cohesion with it. And also I want the species to vary from plane to plane depending on where they grew up. So this is kind of what I've been working on at the moment within my own head, trying to figure out like, oh, what do I want to do with it? Because I know that I want to make humans, elves and dwarves all different, and I have some really good really wonderful third party kind of stuff that I want to use, I guess, to bring that to life. Rather than just being a standard, oh, well, I'm a human variant. Because I want there to be actually some, variety. We also have, I'm going to have some dunes along here. Welcome, hello. We're just doing some map building. Question is, do we like this? Hello, welcome. Do we like this little lava pit down here in these red mountains? I'm trying to figure that out. trying to figure this out. Hello. So yes, we're working on the part of my world. It is a custom build world set within. I will be using D&D 5th edition for the rule set, and we are slowly working on bits and pieces that we're using for it. So this is all going to be stuff that... This is going to be the world map. Through the events of the game and the world, this is the Feywild, which has become known as Feywild. The material plane has basically fused through the events of the actual in-game story and things like this. We have passed through the third era, the second era, the first era, obviously, and the players' actions within that world have actually led to what we're now seeing. Might put some more trees in after the fact. At the moment, we're just populating terrain, putting in some mountains, hills, this kind of thing. And from there, we will do the towns, which, in my opinion, is by far the most fun aspect of this. But one of those situations when I have to check my own world lore because I cannot remember for the life of me. There was an Elder Elemental. And I wanted to make sure I get his name right. By the 4th era, he is no longer in existence. He was actually destroyed. He was actually destroyed in the events of the 3rd era in the stopping of the Titan King and the using of the Necronomicon. So... I'm going to mute myself for a sec while there's a coffee machine in the background. On that note, go get yourself a coffee or a drink of your choosing. Music feels just a little loud, but let me know. Yes, let me know if the music is too loud. save. So yes, working on some fey quartz. I hope everybody that is watching or has dropped by is having a good day today.
Is everybody in the groove? Well, stick around. We're just warming up, baby.
Quite like the look of that. So I can see what I'm doing, at least within each of these territories. So we have Alaira, Ilmar, Polaris, Calliope, and up here we have Ilt-Iver. Which I will need some of your help to come up with a few names here and there as well. So, I think I want to do a little bit of landscaping up here because I want to create An oasis, I think. Up here. I don't want the lines too smooth. Which means up here. I get sandy around this. Might make a lighter sand color. Might just there we go. This is a huge town. Go through and we'll find the icons that I use for these ones. And this is what I use for fake towns. Now I will need some help very shortly because I want to put in some, not too many, but I think I want to put some barrows in this area, which lead to the underground world parts of the Feywild. The dilemma comes with what to name them. Any suggestions? So the question is, when I start creating these towns, should I do them all in alphabetical order? Potentially driving me insane because I don't know where I'm going to be in any given map building session, but it would add variety. I'm open to suggestions. Or should I do them by territory? What would you guys like to see? Bring this name, I think, down just a touch. So it's actually been really fun doing the summer and autumn courts because we had lots of desert, lots of mesa. I'm going to be putting jungles and swamps in as well, which is exciting for me. I like doing jungles and deserts and swamps. It's not something I do very often. I mean, at least if I build all the towns in alphabetical order, I can put them all into an alphabetized list, and that will let me know if I have two of the same name. Because even though I've tried to be pretty fastidious about making sure we don't have two of the same name, it can happen. Put in I acute. About this, the more and more I do it, the faster I get doing it with these. Sometimes. Okay, so we're working on Polaris. So I will likely go through and start figuring out industries for each of these towns once I have the maps finished. This is one up the top is relatively easy. Which, with that being the case, there should probably be some hills in a place called Hollis Hill. so tired, Runner. It's always nice to have you here. We are building the summer and autumn courts. It's been pretty chill so far, actually. Been kind of low-key, just putting in some of these monstrosities. Have a look at this. Look at this steaming, fiery mass down here. We've got some glowing dunes. Some very interesting places, basically. Yeah, it is the, this is going to be the Court of Steam, kind of like the halfway point between fire and water. So, just putting in some names really at the moment. Yeah, just putting in the names of some Fey towns and things like that. Question is, at the moment with no trees, no landmarks, I can see, and this is the thing, I can put some landmarks in. So what I'm thinking is, this part down here is going to be quite deserty. And then we're going to come across to more jungly, swampy kind of stuff before moving back up to like your autumnal kind of forest. But do we want some landmarks? We've got some hills up here already. I feel like there should probably be some mountains over here. Oh no, they're not pushed through though. They're not like the birthplace kind of. What are we thinking? See, because some of these barrows probably need some hills or something to accompany them. You and your random questions. Ice cream. I gotta say, I'm a fan of a good mint choc chip. But you gotta have lots of fudge sauce, like chocolate fudge. Yeah. See, I'm a bit of a fan of like the Cold Rock styles, the Ben & Jerry's. I like lots of bits and pieces in my ice cream too. Like just for a bit of textural variety. What about you, Tide Runner? What's your favourite flavour of ice cream? Yeah, chocolate peanut butter. Gotta admit, chocolate peanut butter, that is also a good combo. Oh no, gummy bears in ice cream. Like, this might be a controversial take for those who actually like gummy bears in ice cream, but why would you want to eat hard, like hardened gummy? Like, honestly. Like, explain to me the logic of how that feels good, how that tastes good. You know, just... What? Just, yeah, it gets stuck to your teeth, like, the whole day. Or you feel like you're going to lose your teeth. See, now here's the thing, Tide Runner. They are no longer called Redskin candies over here. Remember, they changed them. I can't for the life of me remember what they've changed the name to, though. Yeah, no, they changed the name. Give me a second and I can tell you. Yep, there are two Australian candies that they did change the name of. to Red Runners and Cheekies. The other one that got changed was, you know how we've got like the little chocolate jelly babies? They changed the names of them too. So yes, we've got Red Rippers and Cheekies. And hi, Spinner. Welcome. Sorry I missed you at the end of last session. I feel kind of bad because you joined just as I was finishing up, so... But I did see your message. So I wanted to say hi for then too. Yeah, Chickos. Yes, we did change the name of them. Because it was deemed that they could be a harmful stereotype with the pictures and imagery of them. Which the company is well within their rights to do. But yes, no, it's more I wanted to acknowledge, Spinner, that I did see you. And I am still grateful that you showed up, that you said hi. Yes, we are world building. We have finally... So, I know it's been a while, but just for those people who are catching up, we have moved our way into the 4th iteration of the world. After an event known as the Merge, the previous towns and whatnot I was working on, that campaign, we kind of finished up that campaign and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, all the apothecaries. Tide Runner is part of the reason that I am sparing with my apothecaries and herbalists, because they like building all the potions, and I do have a combination of custom homebrew third-party herbalism kind of document that allows them to do so, which did allow them, in essence, in my stupidity, allowed them to make something along the lines of C4 and things like that, which, as you can imagine, what could go wrong? Exactly. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that I actually provided you with that opportunity, but it did mean that I had to limit where you could get resources, because otherwise, no fun, man. If you're not going out and hunting down your own bits and pieces, what am I supposed to do with you? I have to make you work for it. Yeah. There was that one time that you did start, though, a mudslide in a snowy mining town. Yeah. That kind of happened through a combination of things, of the player not realizing that in old school mining they did actually used to keep the C4 and things like that they would mine with on premises. Yeah, it's a common old school practice, but I don't blame you for not knowing that. It did lead to shenanigans though when you sent your fire-breathing owl in there. So, but yes, so after the events of that, and them summoning creatures from the Necronomicon and stopping the Titan King from rising, we moved into... The problem with this is the Eldritch power from the Necronomicon basically pulled the material plane, the Feywild, and Hell to basically kind of mirror over the top of each other in kind of like a sandwichy kind of thing. Yeah. They were very good at working together like that. Yeah, they were very good at working together like that. I think that at some point they were working on a railgun as well. Things happened, basically. Yeah, so in this particular instance, what we're going to see is not just the merging of realms and things like this. It's the fact that so the Feywild, the material plane, and Hell / the Abyss, because I merged those two things together, they are no longer independent entities that are like a shadow realm and things like this. They're actually they've all been basically forced onto the material plane, but kind of like paralleling over the top of each other. So there will be a form of plane shifting which will allow people to jump between those kind of things as if they were the material plane. The bad guys of the campaign, which are the Witch Queens, they will be on the what was the prime material, which is now known as Anthalamia. Our party, when we jump into it, will be starting in the Feywild, which is known as Feywild, which is what we're working on now. And they will also, some of the characters can be from Nethreg, which will be the Hell Plane. But the outcome of this means that by the forced paralleling, it has meant that yeah, exactly. Well, what's going to happen? Magic already is going to be a scarcity anyway. It's going to be more that it's unstable. In some areas, arcane magic users are going to be highly mistrusted because of the Witch Queens. Magic is going to be unstable due to the etheric mining of the world tree, because all of their magic, their ether, basically comes from sap, essentially. And that was an event that was caused in the first era of the game when some entities, some people who had eldritch blood some twins decided that they no longer wanted magic to be derived because of slaughter, because it was the sacrifice of one twin, and that eldritch blood would then create magic. And they decided to stop that. And so they found a new form of magic. Yeah, so the tree sap, which is essentially known as weave ore. So Yggdrasil, the world tree, provides magic naturally. However, the material plane in the third era found a way to essentially mine that and turn it into tree sap. Yes, tree sap. They essentially found a way to turn that into a crystallized, unstable version, but then they also found ways to stabilize it. And in doing that, created ether. But the problem is, by the time the fourth era has come around, they have mined so much that it has created instability in the world tree. The material plane, people from the material plane, will be more futuristic, cybernetic, very technology driven like that, arcana tech. And I want the species and races of the material plane to kind of reflect that. So an Anthalamia human or a material plane human is not going to be the same as a Feywild human. Obviously some people did, there were collectives of people that did actually help people from the material plane escape the Witch Queens, and this is why there are now humans and different races living in the Feywild or Feywild. Which is why we've got, as you can see here, we've got some human settlements. We've also got Fey settlements. And obviously, so they're going to, like, Feywild humans are going to be different. Hell humans are going to be different, obviously. I think in my list of things, Aasimar, for example, are predominantly from Hell because it is a lawful plane. And also because of the events of the third era, in which all the Aasimar bloodlines were basically tainted by being tied to demons as familiars. There will be, in certain situations, there will be some areas where, if we're going from a science standpoint, it won't necessarily be possible. Just because obviously the species are too genetically different. But we will see, for example, dragonborns. We will have dragonborns in the Feywild, but they will be descendants of fairy dragons. We're going to see metallic dragonborn being from the hellscape, Nethereg. We're going to see chromatic dragonborns being from the material plane. Because of, obviously, their inherent natures, not necessarily good or evil, just more chaotic and order, and things like this, because the hells within my world is apparently very bureaucratic. It is a business, and the gears must keep turning. There is going to be a huge number of races that they're going to be able to play. Last build we did, if I bring up the world map, in the bottom right hand corner we created the sweet fields in spring, and there will be some edible races from there. We're going to have the Alacrem, which are they're kind of like a Fey ooze that you can play. We're also going to have the gummy people. We've also got buttery sprites, who are essentially Fey sprites that revere butter as a god. Which I don't know if anyone will play them, but we shall see. It's a work in progress. And so, yeah, we're just at the moment going through all these places and putting in towns. I do need to sit down and figure out the exact logistics, but I don't want to limit. Yeah, lots of plot, lots of things like that. The interesting part for me is going to be obviously creating all these differences and figuring out how that works. I wanted to make it a low magic, not necessarily low religion setting, but because of the way that the planes have kind of merged together, it has meant that people who support the gods or are truly supported by the gods are few and far between. Arcane magic users are kind of looked down upon or distrusted, because I don't obviously want to mechanically strip things out of my players, because at the end of the day, the players are, all the player characters, regardless of the build they create, are usually special in some way. So, for example, a cleric in this party is going to be one of the entities that probably does get a connection to their god and things like that. And because of that, most of the clerics in the setting will mostly be glorified traditional healers as opposed to magic healers. So it means that, well, it's not that gods banned magic, it's just they can't connect with the material plane because of that weird plane shifting, and the parallel mirroring of it. So they can't connect so in becoming connected and fused together, they kind of disconnected a little bit from the celestial plane. So the gods will still be there. Some of them who were deeply connected to the land and things like this will probably be in comas or slumbering. But yeah, so it means that common clerics, like NPC clerics in the world, will probably be relegated to just general healers and things like this. So when a true cleric comes along, like a party cleric, if they do clerical magic in front of the common folk, they will be seen as some kind of hero. The fact is, and people will seek them out for miracles. They will be, there's going to be this issue where they're going to be harassed or distrusted as charlatans, or they're going to be revered as heroes, and desperate people are going to seek them out for miracles. Arcane users are obviously going to, there is going to be a level of distrust there. But I'm not going to strip them of any magic or anything like that, because that would be excessively unfair to do so, you know, because I don't want anyone to end up feeling like their character can never truly achieve proper power, but they do have to be careful about how they use their magic, because the only people who have a stable control of magic is the witch queens. I've already discussed with some of the players that the druids' natural magic is fine, apart from, at least in the material plane, the druids basically wanted to protect their towns and things like that. But they druided so hard that no one can find their towns and villages now. You know, there was a level of natural magic used to shelter their towns and villages, so they can't necessarily be found. And these are all like little bits and pieces, like they're still works in progress, like just these are kind of spinning plate thoughts basically that I'm trying to figure out what I want to do and things like that with it. We have 2 glanes, that's not a good thing. If I was smart, I would be ticking the names of, because I have a list of names in front of me that I'm trying to pull from when I remember. I should tick them off as I use them so I don't double up. I did ask earlier, when we get to the town building aspect, should I do it in alphabetical order, towns, or should I do it by region? I mean, if I do it in alphabetical order, we're going to have a different kind of location. So we've obviously got the spring, summer, autumn, winter courts. So that means that, you know, we could end up in a different place all the time, and I can put all the names into a list and make sure that we're, you know, not doubling up on any names. Or we can do by region, which, you know, might mean that we get a couple of similar style maps every week or so, depending on how long I stream per day. The wonderful part is, this particular game that I'm building now, I am actually intending to stream it. So hopefully my wonderful followers will be able to come along for the ride. See what I do, see how I run as a DM. Be prepared that it will probably be a lot of lore dumps and things like this. This does tend to come up a lot, but hopefully by starting in a new era, you know, my followers will actually get to end up being a part of something like this, which will be really interesting. I'm really excited to show this world to everyone. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you think that they're well planned, because a lot of the time I'm going in just going with what looks, I guess, aesthetically pleasing and how they would work together. But I mean, some of it is also thinking about how geographically things work. So you know, things that I would consider is that potentially there is a sandbar across here where there was once like a connecting landmass, because this would make sense that if this was a world plate, this is how it pushed up and this is how we've now got a mountain range here. So at the same time, also thinking just some of it can be Fey shenanigans, I guess. Well, that's exactly it. I mean, the sweet fields that I put in is literally just because I wanted to put in tiny edible people and make a really delicious looking like little Candyland area. Yeah. Do I think that anyone will play an edible race? Probably not. Will it be fun anyway? Hopefully. We can only hope. I do not want to put cannibalism, thank you very much. No way. It is not something that I typically do. I try to avoid things like that. Look, I don't control my players. If you guys want to end up, I don't know. See, no cannibal races. I mean, if the player character, look, if someone was to play an edible race in my game and then another player wanted to play a cannibal, I would have to turn around and heavily discourage it. Because what does that happen? What happens to party cohesion if, you know, they're constantly eating each other? Which, the phrasing of that came out terribly then. Thank you for that. Well, I've never had a character like a player a lizard folk. But yes, I am aware that lizard folk are a very pragmatic race. And I do like the canon of them that, you know, I don't know if I want it like, you know, a death happens and they're like, you're gonna eat that, bruh. But, you know. Oh God, I don't know what I would do with a party of all bards. I've had a party with a lot of clerics. And that was hilarious in and of itself because they, Look, we have a bard in our Tuesday party and they are not team horny at all. I mean, I don't think it was actually in the Tuesday group. They're a pretty diverse group, but I think the paladin has potentially been probably potentially the thirstiest. But it is purely by accident because the rest of the people in the party keep trying to set them up. I think the warlock, at least jokingly on the surface, is potentially also deemed as one of the hornier parts. Explain to me what is wrong with strong women. Honestly. That being said, though, Tide Runner, I do put a variety of different people in for all different types. Hey, I just put it in there. If you guys don't interact with it, that is not on me. I don't force you to interact with anybody that your party does not want to interact with. Which is how your Saturday party got banned from most chocolate shops in the area. After you threatened a chocolate maker and turned into a bear. I need to come up with some barrow names.
Is everybody in the groove? Well, stick around. We're just warming up, baby.
She had a singlet on underneath. She legitimately had a tank top underneath. It was just a very loose tank top. She did, actually. There was actually a tank top under there. You may not believe it, but there was. And that is not the last. That was the last blacksmith. That was not the last. I think the last was a gladiator, wasn't it? Yep. Yep. For a yeah, and they were celebrities. She had her whole celebrity shtick going on. Did she even talk to Vedetta? I don't think she spoke to Vedetta, unless it was like, hey, you want to come train with me or whatever. And she actually legitimately meant train with me. See, I don't throw people at you. I just put them in the way, and if your characters interact with them, so be it. And, for the record, that blacksmith was in there before the characters were going to go there. So it's not like I did it on purpose. I don't know if I'm going to end up regretting that. Oh, likely story. Always such distrust. Jeez. That's what we're working with again. I want some more clouds, especially over here. Evil One, how are you today? It is lovely to have you here. Welcome. Making some misty plains and things like this. I might end up regretting this, but hey, Evil One, do you want to name a place? I feel like that is a concept that has already been very strongly built. Stare intensifies. I mean, I don't even know, because at the moment, it is a concept that has been very heavily championed, actually. But I don't know what would have happened to that family, because that is something that we're currently playing out. And it is up to the player as to what they want to happen to their clan. Although I do have a feeling that character's clan would really love the Misty Mountains that I've created. Particularly the character. to die next session. Oh, ye of little faith. I mean, there is no reason to think that he will die next session. For all I know, he'll be very charming and convince the demon to join them. It could happen. He's also a very adept at being a ninja assassin, so he may live. Yeah, but it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. I have complete faith in the character. Complete faith. Why do you think he's going to be dead? I'm more intrigued to see what's going to happen because the bard of the party should be back this next session too. And the last he knows, he went to a temple and you guys were fine. Is there a shadow-based warlock? That's not true. At all, Evil One. Could the character take a dip in Shadow Warlock? Yeah, you say it'll be fine, and then our character's fine. So why could it not be true in this situation? Probably something with Disney knowing me because it's the stuff that I know the best. Although there is a song that I do like called Lost Without You. The Evil One put me onto, and it's a really good song. I really like the lyrics of it. I like the actual tonality of it. It's a really good song. Evil One has very good taste in music. Okay, and with that, we now just need to do trees. So many trees. Which we'll start with some swamp trees. Up the area, lower the density. Honestly, I don't know, because it is one thing to say switching lives with somebody, but it is that literal you don't know what their actual life is like. We're all so good at in general at like masking what bad stuff is happening to us. That like I don't know if living somebody else's life would make it any better even for a day. So it's not really something I think about, unfortunately. Which, I mean, is no fun for the sake of the question, but that is my 2 cents. I know that that's a pretty boring answer, but it becomes a case of if you have one day to swap with somebody, there is no guarantee that your day will be better. So take the life I know. Not very adventurous, I know. Also because, you know, whatever entity was responsible for that change would most likely have a certain sense of humor that would not necessarily... Yeah, you don't know what the other person is going through, but it's also a case of, depending on the power that's doing the swap, there is no guarantee that the life you're getting swapped with, like, you don't know what day you're going to be swapped with. So how do you know the day you're swapping with somebody, you know, whatever entity that did this isn't saving their life, you know, and this is actually the day that you die? I know, very morbid, but twisted, kind of twisted logic. But I also know, like, well, that's exactly it. Like, the question comes down to, if you were to swap lives with somebody for a day, do you get to pick the day as well? Alright, thanks for dropping by, Tide Runner. It's great to have you here. with that, I think we might just be done. Thank you to everybody who showed up for this stream. It is very appreciated for everybody who jumped in chat, said hi, had a bit of a chat and things like that. Definitely always helps in things like this. I very much appreciate everyone who comes in, drops by for, just jumps in for a watch and things like this. It is always appreciated. So thank you to everybody who participated. Otherwise, I will be back on Monday with more Boomeadow builds, and we will probably, most likely, be moving across to a different part of the world. So we will be jumping into Anthalamia on Monday. However, it was wonderful having you here. If you like what I do, please don't hesitate to follow. Turn on your notifications so you know when I'm going to be streaming. If you do miss the stream, you can catch up on everything on my YouTube channel of the same name, Boomeadow. And if there is anything else, if you want to catch more of me, look down in my About section. That tells you exactly where you can find me and my stream schedule. So, with that, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or start of the day or whatever. Hope it is at least somewhat relaxing. If not, I hope you get to relax and find some time to relax during the day. Otherwise, I've been Boomeadow, and I will see you back on Monday. Bye.